My brother framed me for ending a life, so I ended his life as a free man. My older brother Marcus was the golden child who could do no wrong. Star quarterback, honor roll student, dad's fishing buddy. I was just the failure who barely graduated and worked nights at the warehouse. But what our family didn't know was that Marcus had been systematically destroying lives for years, and I was about to become his biggest victim. It started when I was 22 and Marcus was 26. I came home from my shift to find police cars in our driveway. My neighbor, Mr. Chen, was dead in his garage. Someone had beaten him with a crowbar during a robbery. The cops found the weapon in my locker at work with my fingerprints all over it. Marcus stood there with our parents, tears streaming down his face, telling officers how worried he'd been about my anger issues lately. The crowbar was from Dad's tool shed. Marcus had borrowed it weeks earlier to help fix Mr. Chen's fence. He'd made sure I used it the next day to move some pallets, getting my prints all over it. When police checked the security footage, they found Marcus had a perfect alibi. He was at the movies with his girlfriend, ticket stubs and all. I had no alibi, except being alone at home sleeping. Marcus visited me in jail before the trial. He leaned close and whispered, "Chen caught me dealing drugs from his property. Old man threatened to call the cops, unless I cut him in for 50%. I couldn't let him destroy my future over some pills." He smiled. "But hey, you never had much of a future anyway." That's when I realized Marcus had been planning this for months. The fence repair was just an excuse to case Chen's house. The movie alibi was carefully constructed. Even my work schedule had been manipulated. Marcus had called in sick for me the night before, ensuring I'd be home alone with no witnesses. I got 15 years for murder during commission of a robbery. Marcus got promoted to assistant manager at the dealership where he worked. Our parents visited him every Sunday for dinner. They visited me twice in 5 years. But prison taught me patience. I spent every day planning Marcus's destruction. My cellmate taught me about forensic evidence and how investigators think. I studied law books until I could recite procedures by heart. I learned exactly how to build an airtight case against someone who thought they were untouchable. When I got out after 12 years for good behavior, Marcus was living in an expensive house with a wife and twin daughters. He built his entire life on the foundation of my imprisonment. He worked in finance now, trusted with millions of dollars. Everyone saw him as the successful brother who'd overcome the tragedy of having a killer in the family. I got a job at a security company and slowly gathered evidence of Marcus's real activities. Hidden cameras, recorded conversations, financial records. It took 2 years, but I documented his ongoing prescription fraud scheme and money laundering operation. Then I made copies of everything and mailed them to the FBI, state police, and local news stations. Marcus was arrested at his daughter's dance recital. As they led him away in handcuffs, he looked at me in the crowd and finally understood. I'd spent 14 years planning his perfect downfall, and now he was going to experience exactly what I had. The only difference was his crimes were real.